Welcome everyone to our Wednesday morning or afternoon, depending on where you're at, mastermind session around attraction in action. See, this call is really designed to help you guys improve your knowledge, your skills, your mindset, your habits, as it relates to attracting agents to your revenue share organizations. Now, this is a group agnostic type setup, meaning anybody, I don't care where you're aligned within the EXP, whatever organization, you're always welcome to just plug in, attend, engage, ask questions, get answers, share your wins, share your challenges, because that's what this is about. It's about masterminding together. Now, Napoleon Hill coined that term so many years ago, the mastermind. He said, when two or more minds come together seeking a positive solution to a situation, challenge, or an answer to a question, well, a third mind is actually created. And he referenced that being the mastermind. Now, that's what we're going to create today, is a mastermind, where all of us are smarter than just one of us. There's no doubt about that. So I want you to take away what you can from this meeting. I want you to share what you can during this meeting. And if you showed up just to, block out your camera and take notes, you're on the wrong call. I really want you to plug in, okay? I really want you to engage with us. See, how you participate here is how you're going to participate in building revenue share. You understand this? So I always start off this call on a positive note, and I ask questions. And is it DJ? Is that right?
It is.
So DJ just shared with the group that she's doing these virtual lunch and learns, and she's getting a ton of people registering and showing up to learn about the EXP model. So DJ, let's talk about this. First off, what time of the day do you do it? And what day of the week?
We've been doing them every other Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m.
6 to 7 p.m. See, I've never done a lunch and learn or a virtual lunch and learn in the PM hours of the day. I've never done that, yet it kind of makes sense. And so on average, you're getting how many people to register for the event?
This is our second one. Last night was our second one that we've done. Both times we had first time a little over 100, a little less than 100 this time. And both times had around 50 people show up.
Yeah, and that's typical for virtual events, is that you're going to get about a 50% no-show rate, unless of course you just stack on the value on the front end. See, in lack of a perception of value, anything could happen. So they could stub their toe and they're not going to show up. You understand? So at a 50% show up rate, so you're getting an average about 50 people to show up. What is the duration of your presentation?
It is, well, the first half is preparation for being a realtor, generic information. And the second half is information on EXP. So it's an hour, and then we stay on probably another 10 minutes and answer questions.
That is fantastic, DJ. I absolutely love it. So there's obviously a secret sauce to what you're doing to get that many people registered. Tell me about your promotion model. What does that look like?
Well, I'm an ex-team leader with KW. So I mean, all the new agent trainings or open houses I ever did, I was lucky if 3 people showed up. I don't know about the rest, anybody else that ever did those, but I didn't have anything. Yeah. So what we did was, through KV Core, we've been using texting and then video, sending out a text. And it's very interesting because we get a large number of people that show up, that sign up when we first send it out, and it's usually about 8 days before the event. And then we get nothing from the second one that we do, basically nothing. And then the day of, or the day before, the day of, we get another large chunk. And mostly it's text, from the text.
Okay, very good. Now, are these cold texts that you're sending out?
Yes.
Have they opted into a system, or it's just cold?
Just cold.
Okay, very cool. And where are you getting access to the data? Tell me, DJ.
It's a list of the people that have applied to take their exam.
Okay,
gotcha. Real estate exam.
And how are you getting access to that list, though? I mean, certainly you've got to have a relationship with a real estate college of some sort, right?
Well, yeah, we buy it.
Okay, so you buy it. Can I go deeper, DJ? Because I have a sense that you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable with me asking you these questions.
No, I'm just thinking through, like, what do we do? This is all brand new, that
Well, I love the fact that you're sharing that with the rest of our audience. Guys, this is what it's all about. All of us are smarter than one of us. There's no question. So DJ, thank you so much for diving in and sharing that. So I assume that you just reached out to a local real estate training college, or maybe it's an online type thing, and you just asked them, can I acquire your list of
right,
those people that are in pre-licensing training?
right,
And they
exactly,
said yes, and you wrote them a check and they gave you the list.
exactly.
And
It's
then you're
not
just
that
sending them a
difficult.
broadcast
Yeah.
text message.
Yeah.
By the way, what platform do you use for the broadcast text?
KV Core.
Oh, so you just upload them into KB Core, you
Yep.
send a broadcast text through KB
It's
Core,
pretty
and they
simple.
register.
Yeah,
Again, I want to go deeper. Is that okay?
sure.
What does the text say?
The text says, oh geez, it says something like there there's a new program available for new agents on oh, I'd have to find it. Sorry, I'll find it for you. But it's basically it's 2 lines. It's there's a new program available to get you ready for entering into the real estate industry. The time and the date and the registration is here, and hope to see you there. It's
Very good.
really simple.
All right, so DJ, again, we're going to go deeper. So it's really simple. It's a direct approach. And I love a direct approach, by the way. I can't stand people who want to try to come through the side door with me, meaning that they reach out to me and they focus on, building rapport and relationship, and they want to invite me out to happy hour, or let's go golfing. And by about the 11th hole, they're now finally pitching me on their agenda, right? Now, just tell me your agenda up front, because I don't have time to waste. And I don't choose to waste time, because time is the only inventory I have in life. So I appreciate the direct approach. So you're inviting them. Once they register, what happens then?
Once they register on Zoom, then they get the direct Zoom thing. You've registered. Here's your link, and then and then we don't have this down to science, by the way. This is the second time. And so the people that register, we send them out a second. We have Zoom send them out a second notice of the Zoom call the day of there. We have not. I don't know how to use KV Core. I've only been with the XP like a short period of time, and so I'm just learning how to use that. And so I have.
Oh, by the way, I do have a recommendation for you, DJ, and everybody else. If you're struggling a little bit with KV Core, because I'm sure you've all heard it said that the best CRM tool for realtors today is the one they know how to use, right? All of them have very similar functionalities, yet if you don't know how to use it, that's a bit of a problem. So there's a very cheap and easy solution to improve your knowledge, skills, and habits around that KV Core platform. It's put on by a friend of mine. His name is Shannon Pyatt. Many of you have been through his KV Core boot camp. And if you haven't, I would strongly encourage you to invest in yourself and your business and make that happen. Guys, it's just $97. That's it. $97. And Shannon and his team are going to teach you the shortcuts, how to build smart plans and automations and campaigns through that KV Core platform. They'll show you how to use the functionalities of the system, like broadcast text, like DJ's talking about. Even ringless voicemail drops through KV Core. They'll teach you how to do that. They'll teach you how to build landing pages, squeeze pages, all the like, for just $97. Okay, so seriously, invest in yourself.
How do you reach him?
Understand how to use that? It's going to do you so many good things. I'm telling you. Go ahead, DJ.
Will you drop his information in the chat box, please?
Yeah, so it's just kvcorebootcamp.com.
Oh, okay. Well, that's easy.
So I'd encourage you all to go there, kvcorebootcamp.com. Now, also, DJ, if you choose to, and those of you who are really leaning in on this part of our conversation, I encourage you to, because this is solid gold, I'm telling you. If you want to decrease your no-show rate, if you want to change that from a 50% no-show rate to like a 15% no-show rate, what I would encourage you to do is really focus on your confirmation type process. So once they've registered, obviously, they've registered. You probably get an email through KV Core, you get a text message, whatever platform that you're leveraging for the registration process, or even Zoom will send you the email that you've got a new registrant. It'll build your list. then what I'd encourage you to do is send them a video text. Okay. Now, ideally, you could leverage CRM Grow for this, because there's a watch indicator on every video that you send. Meaning it'll tell you if it's a 3-minute video, they only watched 10 seconds of it, or maybe they watched the whole thing, right? Yet a very short confirmation video, I would recommend 30 seconds or less, okay? Yet what we have to do is instill value in the conversation you're about to have. In absence of value, they're going to no show. So this video might be something like, hey, it's Sean Kokoska with eXp Realty, and I'm so grateful that you registered for our upcoming class on, what'd you say, Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. I'll tell you what, we're going to show you the step-by-step approach to build a predictable business in real estate. The attrition rate for realtors these days in the first 18 months is 83%. So 100 people get licensed, only 17 of them remain 18 months later. I don't want you to be the victim to the real estate market. I want you to have a rock solid plan. And when you show up Tuesday evening at 6 p.m., you're going to get that plan in full detail, and it will double, triple, quadruple your chances of surviving real estate sales. So I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much. Now, the reason you want to do a video text is because, 55% of our ability to influence and persuade others, gang, it's based on nonverbal cues. It's body language. You create an opportunity to create a parasocial relationship in the process, meaning they've never met you, yet they watched you on video, and they begin to establish a rapport with you, even though you don't know the person, you've never talked to them before. Like, think of your favorite actor. DJ, who's your favorite actor?
Oh, I'm not, I don't know. I'm not a movie person. So, oh, okay. Yes. What's his name? Hemsley with Thor. Yeah. If he ever shows up at my door, if he shows up at my door, my husband's toast. So there you go.
He's a good looking guy. There's no doubt about that. Yet, because you've seen him in so many different movies, right? I mean, not just Thor, but he's played so many different parts, right? You tend to start forming a relationship with this person. Like, meaning, if you sat down for lunch with this person, you kind of feel like you know them. Am I right? You feel, you have a sense that you know how they'd respond to certain questions and things like that. See, you're forming a relationship with this person, yet this person, have you ever met them before? Yeah, I've never met him either. I mean, I'd like to. He's a cool guy, no doubt about that. Like, for me, it'd be like Jennifer Aniston. Never met her before. I'd love to. By the way, if any of you have any connections, my wife and I would love to sit down with lunch with Jennifer Aniston. Yet I have a sense that I know how she'd respond. I feel like I'm in a relationship with her in a friendship way, right? Yet I've never actually met her. And this is the parasocial relationship that I'm talking about. And when you're doing video content, you have an opportunity to create that parasocial relationship. And 55% of your ability to influence and persuade them is based on nonverbal cues. So if they can't see you, that 55% goes out the window. Now, 38% of our ability to influence others is based on tonality, rate of speech, use of pause, and inflection. Guys, if you're just sending a text to confirm your appointments, 55% is out the window, as is the 38%. What you're left with is 7%. That's the words that we use. So once they register, ideally through an automation in CRM Grow, they automatically get this text video reminder about the meeting, and you're instilling value. You guys with me on this? Yes. So that happens automatically. And then, Tuesday afternoon, maybe about 12 o'clock, you're going to send out another video text message to remind them of the call between 6 and 7 p.m. that evening. And again, it's video based. And your no-show rate is going to be decreased from 50% to maybe like 15%. Now, I see a hand went up from Mr. Policino. And by the way, Sean is one of our great coaches here at Icon Coaching. He's helping a lot of people accomplish their goals in attraction, as well as their sales production. And before we get to you, Sean, I just want to remind everybody that you can interrupt me at any time. Simply move your mouse down to the bottom of your screen. You see that reactions tab, right? if you click the reactions tab, you're going to see a whole bunch of different emojis. Feel free to use those. Yet you see that bar at the bottom, it says raise hand. All you have to do is raise your hand. I'll call upon you. We'll get your questions answered. No doubt about that. So Sean Policino, take it away.
Hey, great. So I'm sure we have a lot of CRM Grow users here on the call, and you mentioned a couple of the features that are really cool. Like you can set a meter. If they watch the video and they watch 10% of it, then send them the next video. But if they don't watch it, it goes down a path where it's an if this, then that type of statement. That's pretty intuitive. But one thing I found out is that, and this goes to exactly what you're talking about with text messages, is that CRM Grow doesn't send a video GIF. Does everybody know what a GIF is? GIF. It's like the little animation where it's the first part of the clip where if you're waving your hand, it shows you raising your hand. Or like what I do to increase my open rate is I actually say, hello, Ray or Roger, whoever I'm talking to. And I put a little whiteboard up there so they see their name and they open up. Now I do this with KV Core because KV Core sends a little GIF of that first part. But CRM Grow doesn't do that. It sends a link and there's no video. And I don't know about you guys, but if I get a text from a random number that I'm not really familiar with that has a link, I'm not clicking that link. So if everybody that's using CRM Grow could go into their dashboard, go to the question mark. Andrew there?
Can you get rid of that background
Hey,
noise?
someone joined that's not on mute. Can you put yourself on mute, please?
Taking the paper clips. Right.
Rachel and Andrew both need to be muted. There you go. Okay, so if everybody that's using CRM Grow today could do me a huge favor and go to the question mark at the top right-hand corner, and it says there's a thing that says report a bug. And also, in case you guys don't know, there's a live training link there too. You can actually get a one-on-one live training with CRM Grow, and they'll schedule an appointment with you and give you a training one-on-one and answer all your questions about it. But if you hit that little report a bug and put in feature request for them to make a GIF of that video, because I think that's why a lot of these videos probably are not being opened. I hear a lot of people say, well, they never watched the video. But I have a different experience on KV Core. Does anybody use KV Core video? And if you use KV Core video, which is a $30 add-on with KV Core, it sends that GIF, and I get actually a much higher open rate when I send my buyers and sellers a video. But I don't get, and that's the nonverbal communication you're talking about. People see a video, they see it specially customized to them. They're going to open that thing and get the message, which is what we're trying to get across to them. But I don't use KV Core for my recruiting. I use CRM Grow, and I like a lot of the features over there. So if everybody could do that and we get a bunch of feature requests, then maybe CRM Grow will change that, because I've already talked to them and it's working as designed, unfortunately.
Oh, guys, sorry to jump in, but so Jon Mendelsohn is with us, and he's our scheduled guest today. I know we're off our guest topic, but I did want to bring him in.
No problem for me. I'm good sitting and listening. I'm good talking. I'm good whatever Icon coaching needs from me. I am a mere dedicated soldier. So whatever you need, Sean.
John, well, we're definitely getting to you today. That's for sure.
No
you
worries
bring
at all.
value. You really do. I saw a couple of questions like direct approach, Sean. What is that? Right? Meaning, I don't like it when people want to go through the side door. They focus on building a friendship or relationship, and then all of a sudden, it's like they're the tiger in the forest or in the jungle, right? And they're just waiting to pounce on the prey. And it's like, here, and now I'm going to tell you what I want from you, right? I just prefer people to just say, hey, here's what I want. Here's what I need. Are we a good fit? Can you help me? And if the answer is yes, the answer is yes. If it makes financial sense, and I like you as a person, meaning that you come at me with a direct approach rather than this lack of integrity that you're going to come through the side door. That's me personally. I happen to be a D-type behavior style. I prefer a direct approach. Now, not everybody does. I totally get that. Yet a direct approach would be something like what we're going to talk about with John today. How do you cold call agents and get them interested in EXP? And that's what today's session is really all about. Yet I want to thank Anna Marie, by the way, for posting the KV Core training. link to the chat. By the way, there's nothing in it for me. There's no affiliate relationship. I just believe in what Shannon does. He does a great job. Going through the rest of the chats. Let's see. I see Brad Pitt. Love that. Let's see. Sean Policino is the best. You are the best, brother. Keep doing it. See, I love surrounding myself with people that are smarter than I am. And Sean, by the way, we're going to do a Zoom meeting, you and me, just one-on-one. You're going to show me how to create that GIF for the CRM Grow platform. I would love to be able to do that. Right on. Okay, so moving on. Jon Mendelsohn. He's our special guest today, you guys. And without exception, we always have somebody on this call who's just crushing it, that's willing to just open the Komodo and tell you, here's what I do, here's how I do it, with no strings or obligations attached, right? Meaning, Jon, we just want to extract as much value from you today as possible. Is that okay?
100%.
100%. Right on. So, Jon, first off, give us a little background.
Sure.
Give us the story. Go ahead.
All right. So I got my real estate license in 2016 when I became a super disillusioned corporate mid-level executive, which is a great way of saying, like, you're not really an executive, but you have management underneath you. My background, basically 20 years, I've done all new business development when I was in the corporate world, and then obviously my real estate business is the same way. I built call centers ground up. I've managed large call centers, the whole 9 yards. And when I started in real estate, like I said, I got so burnt out in corporate that I left a good 6-figure job with a stay-home wife and 3 kids. And I had just moved to Virginia. I didn't know anybody. So the minute my license thing got approved, I just went to Zillow and I started calling FSBOs. And I built my entire real estate business off of FSBOs and expireds, did around 9 million my first year in production. I didn't sell a house to anybody I knew until like 2.5 years into real estate because I didn't know anybody there. And so when I started looking at agent attraction, I thought, well, I haven't sold real estate since 2019. I had built a different business. It was a cold calling business that I would set really high quality listing appointments for a couple business partners in high price point areas, take a referral fee for that. It was great. I was working a couple hours a day, making 6 figures. And then my wife went back to medical school, which led to me stopping selling because I had 3 kids and somebody needed to be around. I couldn't run buyers and sellers. So I spent all my time, not all my time, but a few hours a day on the phone setting expired and FSBOs appointments, made a great living. When I, one of the first people I met in real estate is my sponsor. And at the time, I actually had my license in an inactive status because I didn't want to pay a brokerage commission split for setting up appointments to people. So I ran it as a 1099 consultant. And Dave Caggiano, the son of a gun, kept pestering me about it. And he was like, I think you could do something with this the way that you do the rest of your business. And I watched the model. I had people for years talking to me about EXP, and I was like, I'm just not interested. I don't know. It was all the wrong people asking me, people I knew, but I didn't trust. And
Right.
Dave, my first 3 weeks in real estate, the OP at my office at KW said, hey, you should talk to Dave. He's a really great guy. He'll help you with whatever you need. And he's just always been there for me. We became tremendously great friends. So February of last year now, holy cow, I decided to reactivate my license and park it with EXP. And my strategy was do what I've always done. I'm just going to hit the phones. At that time, I hadn't sold a piece of real estate since 2019. So I didn't know anybody in real estate intentionally. And, a couple people I did know came over and I started cold calling people. I didn't have, though, a system or a process for it. And it didn't exist. I searched everywhere in EXP. And the comments were always, well, it doesn't really work that way. It's about your friendships and your relationships. And I was like, I'm friends with 3 people. They've known me for 40 years or 30 years. One of them's my wife and 2 of them are college buddies. I don't have any friends, not even outside of real estate. I don't have any friends, which maybe that's something I need to dive into at some point. But I realized I recruited probably 15 people my first month. And I was super excited. I'm like, I'm going to crush this. I'm going to crush this. And then I realized I'm spending an inordinate amount of time chasing people to bring them onto EXP. And I'm spending a massive amount of time with the people I've brought in and the people that are on LOIs. And I came to realize that they are all the wrong people, not all of them. So if somebody on here is in my organization, you know who you are, that is not the wrong people. But I figured I had to come up with a system. I am not a systems and processes guy, so it took me a while. Like I stopped calling for almost a month, and I just built it out exactly the same way that I built out my cold calling businesses. And then through this call, people started asking me for coaching. So then I took another probably 60 days and built out like a full soup to nuts coaching program. I should have hired Sean then as my personal coach, because that would have saved me massive headaches of building the program, but I have since done that. And so my whole philosophy is, I don't know anybody in real estate, but agent attraction should be for everybody, not just for people who have spent, a long, and nothing against them. That's one way to do it, is, spending a long time building up great relationships. I didn't want to wait 5 years to build these great relationships to start. And I had somebody tell me once, they said, go join some, clubs or things like that. And my dad used to always quote Groucho Marx saying, I would never belong to a club that would have someone like me as a member. And so I'm not going to go join clubs and try to make friends. So I literally, built sort of a front to back system. Took me a little while to weed out all the things I was doing wrong. I'm one of these, I'm not a tremendous visionary. I usually make my successes based on my failures. And that is a slower process. And so long story short, or maybe long story long, now all I do is I own a coaching company that coaches on cold agent attraction. And I'm going to buck the system and say, I am a recruiter, ladies and gentlemen. I am so proud of it. I talk to people all day, every day, with an opportunity that is better than what they have. And to me, that's the greatest gift that you can give somebody. And so everything I do is straight up cold. I will say over the last 3 to 4 months, I haven't done nearly the recruiting that I want to. So I'm not coaching in February. And I have a goal to bring on at least 8 capping FLQAs in February. And now they won't all probably on board, but they'll be in the process. I've got 4 or 5 in the process right now. Brought on a couple last 2 weeks. And yeah, so I'm here to share what anybody, needs to learn about it.
Well, let's talk mindset first. So, and let's be honest, guys, most people, they don't want to cold call agents. They just don't. I mean, they focus on the perception of pain of actually doing that work. Like they're going to reject me. I'm going to look stupid. They let Mick, which is an acronym, MIC, my inner cynic, they let Mick take control of their mindset. And when you let Mick take control, see, Mick's job is to keep you comfortable, right? To protect your precious little ego. Yet the more you risk your ego, guys, the bigger your bank account balance gets. So many of us, we don't have the mindset to say, okay, I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to cold call this agent. I've never met them before, and they're probably going to reject me. If we focus on that pain, we're never going to pick up the phone. Yet we focus on the pain of not actually doing that action. And what is that? I mean, think about it. You're going to be stuck on the transactional treadmill for the rest of your life. Yep. You really are. I mean, you closed 10 transactions last year. You want to close 20 this year. You do that. You've increased your income. You increase your expenses. So the next year, you have to close at least 20 transactions just to survive. Yet you, like me, you're going to set your sights higher. I want to do 3 a month. That's 36. I'm going to do, let's say you accomplish that. You've increased your income. You increase your lifestyle. You buy a new car, you buy a new home. You increase your business expenses. So the next year, no choice, you're forced to close at least 36 the next year. And of course, you're going to go up to 50 to 100. And yet you increase your income, yet you decrease your freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and increasing your income, just to add on to that, increasing your income is kind of a myth, right? Because the more you increase it that way, the more things you have to put in place around you. And I meet all these people that build teams. I've been, and when I started with KW, like 2 months in, I hired a full-time assistant because I don't do paperwork. And my production at my 6-month mark was 6 million of having a license. I did 6 million in my first 6 months. My second 6 months, as I started to look for maybe a buyer's agent and train my full-time assistant, my production dropped by 50%. I did 9 million my first year, just under, which is great. But I will say, I worked 15 hours a day easily because I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that the last thing I wanted as a husband and a father was to have my wife, who stays home with the kids at that time, lose the house because her husband didn't want to deal with bosses he didn't like, and he tried to do something on his own. So it was literally, every single minute of every day I was trying to, do something different. I do open houses 2 or 3 times a week, mostly at for sale by owners. I did very few of my own listing open houses because I was like, well, I've already got the listing. I can't get a listing out of this. But with for sale by owner open houses, I could. So that's kind of getting offside. But what I've seen with everybody who does what you've just talked about, Sean, is they get to the point where they're so overwhelmed that they get some buyer's agents to free them up. But now they got to train these agents and have them work. And most of the people, I'd say probably 90+% of the teams out there, from my own personal, I guess my own, it's not like a great research project, but my own personal experience with talking to people is that the vast majority of teams, the team production covers the cost of the team, and the team leader, their income still comes out of the houses that they're selling. So they didn't do anything besides add hassle and expense.
Well, that's true.
So,
unless they apply the icon coaching methodology.
Exactly. So that's what I was going to say.
Unless profitable.
Yeah, and what I was going to add to that is, unless they have a proven method to follow that has a strategic way to get them out of production. With agent attraction, or as I call it, recruiting, you can get yourself out of production in a year or two to the degree that you want to, right? Because if you can get 10 grand coming in a month before you wake up in the morning, I don't care who you are, your life has changed forever. The bad months you don't have to worry about. So yeah, back to, what I do with agent attraction, I do it all straight. I've only met one person that I've ever recruited. Happens to be my best friend for like 30 years. And I could just tell him, dude, you're coming over. And he's on the call right now. His name's Justin. But that was I'm going to call your parents and tell them they're my parents too. We grew up in the same house. They're not my actual parents, but I'm going to tell them that you've got a lot of kids and you're wasting 50 grand extra a year to stay with a broker that you don't like.
All right.
And
so John, I gotta just cut the suspense here.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm so chatty.
No, everybody wants to know.
Yes.
What do you say when you cold call an agent? You've never met them before.
Yes.
What do you say?
So before I go into this, I'm going to quick preface it with, I've been writing scripts for 20 years. That's essentially all I've done. And so when I write a script, I think about, I have a lot of attorneys in my family, and they always say the first thing you learn in law school is to never ask a question you don't already know the answer to. So my scripting does not essentially ask any questions the entire way through. So if Sean or anybody on the call would like to do a role play of it, I'm more than happy to. The only thing I say with role play,
I'll do it, John. I'll do it, John.
All right, cool, man. The only thing that I say with role play is role playing is designed to make you better. It is not designed to stump the person. Like, you can try to stump me, that's fine. But if I have that in reality on a phone call, I just move on to the next call. So,
well, it's interesting, John, and I want to interrupt just real fast. When I do active role plays with people, what I learn is their perception of the market, of the prospects, and everything else. See, if somebody's going to be really tough and they want to stump me, they believe in their mind that the prospects are going to try to stump them. So, and how we approach things is how it generally ends up, right? You've all heard that expression, all is well that ends well, right? Yet, I think that should be changed to all is well that begins well.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So I don't know who it was.
Brian.
Brian down in the corner. Brian, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, bud.
All right. Well, I'm going to call Brian up just like he's a random agent. Now, I will tell you, I only recruit capping agents. They're doing between 3 and 10 million in production. I don't currently go after teams. They've been 3 to 10 years in the business. They're either at a KW model or a traditional model. If they don't meet those standards, they don't make my list. because I'm not recruiting non-capping agents. The income isn't there for that. So, Brian, ring, ring.
Hello, this is Brian Shaw.
Hey, Brian, Jon Mendelsohn. Wait, I got to pause a second. I'm going to use the Sean Kokoska team because I don't have a real estate team.
Okay, that's
In
fine.
my scripting, you mention your team, okay? Or your group or your business. So, hey, Brian, Jon Mendelsohn with the Sean Kokoska team over at EXP. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you, John?
I am fantastic, man. Thanks for asking. Hey, right off the bat, first off, don't rack your brain or go through your mental Rolodex. I don't believe the two of us have actually met. Reason for my call, though, if you've got a minute. Oh, actually, let me back up a step. Are you familiar with the Sean Kokoska team?
No, I'm not.
No worries at all. So, and these are not going to be his exact numbers, but so we're a $40 million team, been in the business or been with KW for, I don't know, 14 years, ownership in the office, profit share, the whole 9 yards. Anyways, made a huge move about a year ago, partnered with EXP, and everything has exploded. So I'm just reaching out to a few agents that are doing really great business in spite of the insanity of the last 12 months of the market. And honestly, what we're going to be seeing for the next 12 months, and just kind of asking, have you had a chance to really sit down, look at the EXP model specifically as it pertains to your business, your current production, and where you want to see your business go? Because I got to tell you, Brian, the finances, game-changingly different.
I mean, I've had some people talk to me about it, but I've never actually sat down and put numbers down on paper.
Okay, and no worries at all, because I got to tell you, man, I am not in the business of trying to get people to make a decision or make a move. But what I'd love to do is I'll set up a 20-minute call with you. I will walk you through the model, like I said, specifically as it pertains to your business. And if it's something that you want to talk more about, great. If not, absolutely no harm, no foul. At least you'll know what the model looks like, because I know that you know people that have made the move.
Yeah, I know some people in the office have made the move, but I don't know that they were really happy. I'm really happy. I mean, I'm not really looking to go anywhere.
No worries at all. Let me ask you one more quick question, and then I'll let you jump off the phone. If I
Okay.
can show you how to put an extra 30 to 50 grand net in your pocket in the next 12 months without doing anything differently than you're doing now, would that be worth 20 minutes of your time?
Well, yeah, I'd love to put another 30 to 50 grand in my pocket and do exactly what I'm doing now. How are you going to do that?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about on the 20-minute call. So in your schedule, what's the least hectic day of the week where I'm going to interrupt you the least?
Probably Wednesdays at 11 Central.
Wednesdays at 11. I actually have an 11:15 open. So what I'll do is I'm going to send you a calendar invite with a Zoom link, and we'll jump on that call. Like I said, I'm going to walk you through the model. I can guarantee you this, it will not be a bad use of your time. Fair enough?
Okay, sure. Fair enough.
And then I just check make sure I have the right email, send him that. And now the third, after he said no, that is the objection handler that I use. If I could show you how to put an extra 30 to 50 grand net in your pocket in the next 12 months, not changing anything you're doing, would that be worth 20 minutes of your time? I stole that from this guy that I met named Sean. And the beauty of that is I've changed the conversation from EXP to is 30 to 50 grand worth 20 minutes of your time. What I have found.
What it's called is level shifting. In neurolinguistic programming, it's level shifting, meaning it's not about that. It's really about this.
Yep.
And you're doing it masterfully, John. Way to go.
Well, thank you. And what I have found is with the people that say they don't want to meet, that are not like an obnoxious, and I get almost no obnoxious responses. People are polite. This is, I almost don't call it cold calling. This is business to business calling. It's not like expireds and FSBOs. People are not mean ever. The most you get is, yeah, no, my brother's my broker. Well, that's a tough one to overcome. I'm still going to throw the objection handler out there. But what I have found is when I get a soft no, and I use that objection handler, right around 50% of them say exactly what Brian said, which is, well, I'd have to be stupid not to do that, great. And then I move into the scheduling part of the thing. But if you look at the overall conversation, I asked him essentially 2 questions. One, I didn't let him answer. And the second one, I already knew his answer. The first question is, are you familiar with and then whatever your team is, or your group, or your business? And if you don't have one, use your uplines. I know he hasn't heard of them, because in most cases, I'm calling out of state from where my business was. So I already know that answer. And the second question, I don't let them answer. I just move on to specifically as it pertains to your business, your current production, and where you want to see your business go. Because I got to tell you, the finances are game-changingly different. All of that in between the question and the answer makes them think for a minute, and that softens their answer. So that's my script. I use it with every single person. The only objection handler I ever use, I don't care if your mom's your broker, I'm still going to say the same objection handler.
All right, a question just came in from Karen or Karen. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Love the spelling, by the way. What are you sharing on the Zoom call to talk about the 30 to 50K?
So I have, so my model, my process is three meetings, right? So the first one, I do a 20-minute meeting, which is kind of like, I'm weeding them out, making sure they're the right people that I want to have in my organization. But I'm also going to wet their beak on EXP. And then I'm going to show them a brokerage comparison spreadsheet that I built. And let me see if I can just find it.
If you could share that, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so hang on a second. Let me open my Google Docs on another screen, because I think that's where it is. So I have, if any of you have watched Sean's, which if you haven't, you're missing out, Friday attraction, so I don't know what the name of that call is. The Friday call where he basically walks you through the model.
Yeah, the discovery call.
Discovery call.
About EXP. Now,
Yep.
EXP Corporate does not want me putting anything on my website that says EXP, which I totally understand, because we're all independent contractors and they don't want me representing the brand, if you will. And
Sure.
It's the same for everybody, not just me. So it's called the Friday Discovery. If you go to iconcoaching.com, go to events, the tab, and then scroll down to the Friday Discovery Call. You can register for that. Certainly it's free to attend. And yet, if you want to learn more about how to explain the EXP model, I'm going to show you how to do that. In fact, I'm in the process of revamping my slide deck, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be amazing when it's done. I'm so excited to launch that. Ideally, this Friday, if not next. It'll be a little bit different than what you've maybe experienced in the past. It's going to be fun.
Well, that means I'm going to have to get your slide deck again and change mine, because my 20-minute call is an abbreviated version of the slide deck, essentially, that you use for your Friday call. So I'm going to focus on 4 ways versus the 8 ways of creating income. I'm going to focus on production. I'm going to focus on stock awards. Just, again, this is a 20-minute call. Then I'm going to show them my brokerage comparison spreadsheet. Now, I already know all their production numbers, because I know that before I call them, because I use Market View Broker for the data. But Sean, if I have access to sharing my screen.
You do.
All right, I'm going to share this screen over here. So I'm going to apologize to everybody right off the bat for looking away from the camera the entire time I do this. This is my brokerage comparison spreadsheet. And essentially, I've got one for a traditional split that doesn't have a cap, and I've got another for a KW model. It took a long time to build. It looks fairly simple, but it's a pretty gnarly spreadsheet behind the scenes. So anything in yellow are the things that I change, right? So let's say that this agent's doing 8 million in production, and they're getting a 3% commission. It's going to tell me that they got 240,000 in total commission. They get an 80% split. Their broker, or they're keeping 192,000. And if they have a franchise fee, I put it in here. So their split to their brokers 51,000. Now over here, I put the number of deals that they do for that. And there's a reason for that, because if you'll notice in column O or N, excuse me, there's 16,000, that's your icon award. If they only did 22 deals, that's going to turn false, and it's going to change all the numbers for the rest of the spreadsheet. But if they did 35 sales or whatever they need, they have 12 pre-capped sales and 23 capped sales. That's going to calculate all this stuff out. And then down here, it's going to say at their current firm, costs them $51,000 because they're an Icon agent. At EXP, it costs them $7,395. So the cost to stay where they are is $43,000. Then somebody gave me a tip. They said, you should put that out over 3 years, see what it looks like. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do 3-year, 5-year, 10-year, because these numbers are gigantic. Now, let's say that they only did 5 million in production, and they only did 21 deals. It's going to remove that 16,000, and now they're only saving 12,500. I promised them 30 to 50 grand. So when I pop down here, I'm going to show them what happens when they allow me to help them recruit 5 agents, and they allow me to help those 5 agents recruit 1 agent each, and they're all cappers, which is going to put 30 grand back in, puts it up here. Now they're saving 42,000. I can show you anybody at any brokerage, 30 to 50 grand net. It doesn't matter. So then I tell
That's
them,
huge. That is huge. Oh my God. I love it.
I'm a spreadsheet nerd, and this thing, it was a big spreadsheet to build. Let me show you really quickly the second side of this. This is for a capping model. I use it when I recruit when I recruit Keller Williams agents. So same general principle. I put the number of sides right here being 35, and it's going to show me that my 16 grand came back in over here. They're going to pay their current brokerage 25,000, depending on the KW split. Again, if it was only 23 deals, it's going to take that 16 grand back. Oh, they're only going to save 3 grand by moving over because they have a similar split to ours. But 5 agents, that adds 30 grand. That's 33,000. They're in my 30 to 50 grand.
Brilliant.
So that's how there was the question. I'm going to unshare my screen so I can see everybody. Let's see. How do I do that? Stop sharing. There was the question somebody had asked is, how do I show them 30 to 50 grand? That works on every agent. Now, again, I don't recruit from like flat fee type of brokerages. They're like, transaction fee of $295, simply because at any given brokerage that I have found that is either a traditional model or a KW, 20-ish%, maybe 25% are capping agents. When I look at those other types of models, it's like 5%. So I'm not going after those agents anyways, because they're not capping. So I'm not getting paid either way. So that's how I do that part of it. Yeah.
Good point.
So questions in the chat. Are you willing to sell or share the spreadsheet?
So I originally had no problem sharing the spreadsheet. And then I realized I got to actually teach people how to use this or they're going to mess it up and all that. Yeah. So it is part of my coaching program. I don't sell it individually. So as of right now, I don't have any way to just disseminate it because I don't want people using it wrong. And I also don't want it to get out to a ton of people who, again, aren't using it correctly. And then, I don't want anybody to get flagged on it or something like that. But so currently right now, it's part of my coaching program because I spend a lot of time walking you through exactly how to use it and how to use it for each agent. Because without that, it's just numbers and it'll get messed up real quick.
All right, real quick, tell us about your coaching program, John.
Yes, so I have a coaching program called RevShare Builders, and I'm doing some massive overhaul to it right now. So I'm not running one in February. I got some big announcements coming out, I think, in a couple weeks as to what's going to be going on with it. I'm talking epic big announcements. So if anybody wants to find out more about it or reach out to me, you can go to RevShareBuilder.com. And what I would say is just click on the link that says connect with John. Since I'm not running any programs right now and there's going to be changes on it, there's no way to sign up for it at this moment. But we'll be running another session of it in early March.
All right, so this is live training.
Training. Yep. It ends up
the how to, the what to.
It's super to the point. Every session is downloadable, or every session is recorded and re-uploaded into the program right afterwards. You can watch it multiple times. And I got a ton of other content that I use when I attract. That's all included in there as well. Basically, I walk you through every single step of how to do this, from how to finding the agents, how to defining your avatar of the right agent that you want, how to cold call them, how to do the appointment process, so on and so forth.
Fantastic, John. All right, so we got a couple of hands up. Thank you for your patience. Chris, let's go to you first.
Hey guys, John, that was unreal, brother. That was fantastic. You actually covered my question. The hand was up for a while and I forgot about it. So you covered my question though in your answer. So thank you very much. This was
No problem.
amazing.
No problem.
Love it, Chris. Love it. Okay, Barbara, over to you.
Hey, John.
How you doing, Barbara?
Good, good. So y'all, I've been through his coaching program and I really love it. So
Well, thank you.
I'm using it and I'm building up steam. I'm getting good at it, I think. So here's one question I have. In the script, one of the things you say is, I'm not in the business of recruiting and bringing you into the company.
No, hold on. I say I'm not in the business of making people make a decision or make a move,
Right.
but I'd love to show you the model because I'm not. I'm in the business of showing the model.
Okay.
The model is what makes them move. I don't.
Okay, that's what I wanted clarity on. I needed to feel authentic when I'm saying that. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Love it, Barbara. Great question. Sally, over to you. Or not, it's not Sally. Is it? Yeah, it is Sally.
It's actually David.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I took John's class. I think I was in the second group that he has, and I love the program. The one day that I did make calls on January 16th, I did 31 dials. I had 8 contacts. I set 1 appointment, and that guy's coming over.
Man.
And what here's another question, Sean, that everybody asks me: how many appointments do I get per dial or whatever? It kind of works like this. You can make about 15 dials in an hour. You're going to talk to about 6 or 7 of those people. I usually run between 30 and 40, well, probably 30, 35% conversion of I've never talked to you before until I set an appointment. Once I get through the first appointment, I've got probably a 70% conversion to the second appointment, which is a model explain type of appointment. And then the third appointment is a 3-way call. If you get them to the 3-way call, you're going to get them on board.
It's powerful, man. Powerful. Okay. So question came in from Victor. Are you using CRM Grow?
1,000% yes. And I would recommend to anybody that you should, and Sean has said this, and you should be using, in my opinion, a completely separate CRM for your agent attraction business than your real estate business. These are 2 different businesses. And so I keep them incredibly separate. Now I don't sell anymore, but I have my coaching business. They're not in the same CRM. My CRM with CRM Grow, which I go really deep in the coaching program, is exactly how I set up my CRM Grow to be a cold calling type of CRM. And I don't mix it with anything else.
Right on. So Dave, thanks for the question. Is this EXP compliant according to the covenant agreement associated with attracting agents? And yes, it is 1,000% compliant. Okay. You can cold call agents. Heck, this is highly controversial and I hate to bring it up, yet you can actually financially induce people to join you at EXP. I don't agree with that. I don't promote that. Yet there are agents out there that are saying, hey, I'll pay your $85 per month technology fee for the first 2 years. I'll pay for CRM Grow. I'll pay for making it rain. I'll give you $250 per month, and you're going to generate 25 to 40 leads every month. And I'm going to do that for the first 6 months to get you ramped up. I mean, there are people out there that are financially inducing individuals to engage with EXP, and that is also legal according to the covenant agreement. I had the compliance officer on a big group Zoom meeting that I did for our Libertas organization. And he said, absolutely, you can do whatever you want to financially compensate them. Again, highly controversial. I don't agree with it, yet it is legal. Yet to cold call agents, you guys can do that all day long and you won't get in trouble with the EXP, I promise you.
Yeah, I mean, their information is posted online, right? And in the MLS, and you're literally doing a business to business call. So I'm not going to get into the specifics of do not call lists or, 2-party consent states or anything like that. But I'm just going to tell you that I don't really worry about any of that stuff. But everybody needs to do what they think is prudent and legal. I don't do anything that is not. And so the other reason, Sean, and I agree with you, I wouldn't incentivize people because it's going to make you sound desperate. And the model if it's shown correctly, is going to move the people that are open to something better. And so, you know, if you have the best steak in town, you don't need to give it 50% off.
That's right. That's right. Now, I have paid for people's signs and things like that, but
Oh, sure.
no, I'm not going to do anything like that, right? Yet, okay. With that said, guys, I do have a coaching call that I have to start at 12 o'clock Central. Tim, John, if you guys want to stay on the Zoom link and answer any questions, Tim, maybe you want to talk to him about attraction and action. John, you're going to want to talk to him about your coaching program. And guys, the bottom line is your business, your production, your net worth, your net income, it's going to grow to the extent that you personally grow. So I encourage you to plug into this training. Once your mind is stretched, it never goes back to its original form. Get in the right rooms, guys. That's the bottom line.
And Sean, I know you got 30 seconds, but I would have never built this if I didn't go through your attraction and action and learn about it. I just needed to build something that was specific to what I do. And then that's what it developed into. But everybody should start their process off with taking attraction and action, in my opinion. It's a great price, endless amounts of info, and will definitely answer a ton of questions that people have about agent attraction, how to do it right.
Yeah, I'm happy to, John, why don't we stick around? Everybody can stay here. I have some stuff to share too. I have some, cool tech stuff that you guys can use. I do need to run into the other room really quick. John, do you want to take it for a couple of minutes and just kind of?
Yeah, I'll be here, Sean. Thanks so much again for this call. Everybody get on this call every Wednesday. It has been a game changer in my career. Everything that I do from agent attraction essentially stemmed from randomly jumping onto this call 6 or 8 months ago, meeting Sean and the people on here. This is the best thing in EXP for agent attraction on a weekly basis, by far.
Thank you, John. Thank you. And by the way, thank you for engaging me as your coach. Man, I have such a blast coaching with you and helping you get to that next level and the next level and the next level. And dude, your future is so bright.
Well, and I realized that I couldn't get where I needed to go without somebody who has been there. And coaching wasn't an easy decision for me because I'm pretty cheap, but coaching with you, it was a no-brainer. So
thank you, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. I love you so much, Sean. Thanks for everything.
Next week, just be on purpose, be productive, be powerful. Stick around, listen to John, listen to Tim. They'll tell you about how to get access to all this stuff. And Chris, I see your hand is back up. If you'll call on him, John, that would be fantastic.
Absolutely.
30 seconds late, so I gotta go. Talk soon.
Thanks, John. See ya. Yeah, everybody, I've got time. I don't have anything scheduled after this. And this is the most fun in the world, is to talk about things I know about, because I only know about like 3 things. And I will tell you this, I am terrible at 99% of what you do in business, which is why I hired Sean, because I know that my business model has always been, I'm going to do what I think, and then I'm going to adjust accordingly off of my mistakes. And that can only take you so far. But yeah, as far as cold calling goes, I'm going to say something else about it too. This is not real cold calling, people. Real cold calling is you're trying to sell a product over the phone. All I'm doing is sharing an opportunity to spend 20 minutes with somebody. And if they are interested, great. If they're not, I don't care. I got 80,000 agents in my database. So nobody matters more than the next person or the last person. So if I get a no, and again, they're not mean and nasty about their no's. They're just sometimes, like I had somebody one day interrupt me and go, "Is this a recruiting call?" And I said, "No, it's the opportunity of a lifetime call. You interested?" And they're like, "No." Great. Have a fantastic day. I wish you all the best. Next call.
Hey, John.
Well, hold on a second. I think Chris had his hand up. Let's go to Chris, and then we'll, like I said, I got all the time in the world for questions or whatever.
Thanks, John. The question I had was, I'm sure there is a reason for it. I'm curious as to what the reason and the sort of science behind it is for doing the prospecting call and then scheduling the next call, like having that delay. If you've got somebody on the phone who's interested, what's the reason for the putting off the conversation into another day?
Because my income is dependent on how many contacts I make. And if I'm going to interrupt, like I don't interrupt my dial time. Now, I haven't been doing much dialing over the last few months. I've built a couple of different businesses. I got a couple of really big things going on, taking a ton of my time. But in February, I've got 3 to 4 hours a day blocked out. When I do have a 3-hour block of calling, it's 3.5 hours because it's getting everything prepped and ready to go before I dial. I dial for 3 hours and then I'm done. And the other thing that it does is it shows that I'm busy. So if somebody says, well, can we talk right now? I will just say, I always go to the nearest quarter hour. And I just say, actually, I've got an appointment coming up for, if it was right now, in 13 minutes, but I'd love, to schedule this. I will say later that day, or ideally, you always want to set your appointment within 48 hours or a couple days of the conversation. Because if you start pushing further out, every day you push further out, your no-show rate increases. And to Sean's comment, right when I get done, I send them a text message video introducing myself. It says something to the extent of, hey, it's Jon Mendelsohn. Listen, I appreciate you talking on the phone with me. I just wanted to give you a chance to put a face with a name. And then I'll say, I guess a face to the voice. And just tell you that I'm super excited to meet with you. I don't tell them the time because it's a canned thing. And they watch that. So now they've got that physical, seeing me. And then 24 hours before the appointment, I've got an automated appointment reminder, and it just goes out and it puts their name in. It's a text that says, hey, Steve, Jon Mendelsohn, just wanted to give you a quick reminder that we are meeting tomorrow for our call. It doesn't say the time because I want it to be canned. I don't want to have to do it each time myself. Then 1 hour before the call, they get another one that just says, hey, Steve, or whoever it is, super excited to talk to you. We're jumping on the phone in 1 hour. This is going to be an epic conversation or something to that extent. So I have 3 reminders that go through. The first one is a video introduction to me. The second one is a text. It's not a video, which I may change to a video. I just haven't had a time to do that yet. And then the third one, so it's right away. They get one within 5 minutes of talking to me. And I sometimes tell them, hey, I'm going to shoot you a quick video. It's like 30 seconds just to put a face to the name. They watch it. Then they get a 24-hour reminder and a 1-hour reminder. And since I started doing that with video, my no-show rate has definitely dropped.
Gotcha. So when you're then once you've set up the next call, 20 minutes, having done EXP explained, thousands of times myself, 20 minutes is a tight window for that presentation. And where do you, so in other words, because obviously this is different than your sort of typical workflow for this of inviting people to a presentation and all that. I tend to like this because I'm a cold caller too. So are you at any point sort of sending them, either the model explained or your version of the model explained? Like,
nope, I'm not. Anytime you send a video, your cancellation rate is going to go up.
Right.
Because I can't overcome an objection on a video that I sent to you. But I can overcome an objection if I'm talking to you. So what I do is the first appointment, again, is 20 minutes. I got a slide deck that I walk through. I can get it done in 20 minutes. It shares quick overview of EXP, really quick overview. It has the brokerage comparison spreadsheet built into the slide deck that I can edit live. There's a way to do that. I don't even know how to do it anymore. I had to Google it. I watched the video. I did it. Now it works. And then the second appointment is I always say an appointment is not an appointment until you set the next appointment, because it doesn't matter. It's a waste of time, which is the other reason it's 20 minutes. I don't want to waste an hour with somebody who's not interested. So at the end of that appointment, I'm going to say, I don't know, I can't see who I was just talking with, but I'm going to pick a random name. I'm going to say, Trish. I'm going to say, hey, Trish, I'm going to say, hey, it seems like there's a few things that spoke to you in this video. And so what I'd like to do, because I want to respect your time of 20 minutes, what I'd like to do is I'd like to set up another call with you, and I want to walk you through in more depth some of the things that people typically have questions. But again, I just wanted to, make sure I respect your time today. What's the least hectic time in your schedule that I'm going to interrupt you the least? Now, the reason I ask that instead of what's a good time, because it's really easy to say there are no good times. I'm super busy. There are no good. Great. What's the least hectic time that I'm going to interrupt you the least? I didn't say, can you meet? I didn't say, do you want to meet? I literally said, what's the least hectic time where I'm going to interrupt you the least? And then I'll set the second appointment, which is going to be a 45-minute appointment, which is either going to be the Brent Gove or the Allison Gaddy model explained. The only difference is Allison Gaddy does it in 17 minutes. I don't know her. I don't have any, affiliation with her whatsoever. Her model explained is on YouTube, so I just show that. I've got specific questions in there that I do before, and really before I start the video, I always say, hey, so I'm super excited, Sean Policino. I'm super excited to be on this call with you. This is at the second appointment, right? So this is cold call, first appointment. This is the model explained appointment. This video, I think, is going to blow your mind. In fact, I got to tell you, there were like 3 things that stuck out to me that were, it just blew my mind. I lost sleep over it. I'm not going to tell you what those 3 things are because I'm super excited to see if you and I pick the same things. Now they're looking for 3 things. They're paying attention to the video. And at the end of the call, I'm going to say, all right, man, I've been keeping my mouth shut for the last 25 minutes of this, man. What stuck out to you? And he's going to feel dumb if he says nothing. And then from that appointment, I'm going to go to a 3-way call appointment. Again, an appointment is not an appointment unless you set the next appointment. It is simply a waste of time for everybody. So make sure you set the next step as you go.
Okay. So John, if it's cool, I would love to jump in and do kind of a social media update for everybody and yourself as well, because you had questions about this yesterday when we were talking.
Yeah. One thing that I do want to do is everybody, as long as you can stay on, and I will answer every question that comes in. And so absolutely, Tim, you're running the show. I'm just here to show my appreciation to Icon and everything you guys have done for me and help anybody out that I can.
Yeah, no, let me do that. So for anybody who doesn't know me, we've got 88 people on the call still. I want to give you guys real value, and I have real value today. Usually I walk everybody through the same 5 things. I have a new 5 things for you. So let me do this. Actually, I'm going to mute everybody out, and so it's just me. So what I want to do now is share my screen. So basically I work on Sean's marketing. We use a lot of email. We use EXP Workplace. That's something folks have been asking about. EXP Workplace, if you're trying to communicate with other agents in the EXP network, that is amazing, right? I would say get on there and use that, participate. Look up Sean Kokoska and follow him on EXP Workplace. We are putting out coaching and training info on all of our social networks every single day. So, that's something that I definitely want to remind you guys about. But what I want to share today is kind of what I've been getting into in the rest of the social media world. So I'm going to share my Safari screen where I have Sean's logins. So, before I get started with this, I know this looks a little bit chaotic. The single biggest thing I would recommend for anybody is make sure you have a good profile photo of yourself, right? Now in Sean's personal one, it's not the best, but you can see he's got his Icon coaching image there. Yeah. And so just what I would recommend is if you have a local photographer, if you have a friend who's a photographer, another thing is wedding photographers will usually do business portraits inexpensively, just to kind of pay the bills in between gigs. Keep in mind that your photo is that is your passport to the online world. That is what people see before they see anything else. I mean, days or weeks before they see anything else, they see your photo. So you want to have the best photo you possibly can. If you haven't updated those in a while, or if you're not wearing, if you don't have the suit that you like or whatever, if it doesn't look your best, I would strongly recommend seeking out a local photographer, getting those updated, and just presenting yourself as well as possible. You guys already know that.
Tim, are you telling me that the picture of me wearing sunglasses from my car is not the?
Yeah, that's a bad. That is.
I know you are. You were telling me yesterday, like
I know this is
on that.
Well, I'm not trying to lecture you guys. No, it's not. It's not you specifically. It's anybody. And I do this too. I just updated my profile photos. I do that usually like at least once, sometimes twice a year. So I'm no exception. The thing is, people see that before they see you. And you'll get what they call like silent dropouts. People will actually make a decision. They'll say, you know what, this person doesn't look like this or that or the other thing. The same would go to updating all of your information, putting your awards in, putting any media appearances in, right? Get your profiles as filled out as possible. Make it look as good as possible. Keep in mind that people are seeing you, and unfortunately, they make silent judgments before they even interact with you. And you won't even know. You'll never meet them, right? They'll go someplace else. So make sure everything that you have is as updated as possible. So the reason I am in Facebook here, I wanted to show you Facebook groups. This is something that we have been getting more busy with lately. You can go into Facebook and take a look. They've changed their group system. Facebook changed the algorithm to put group posts into your feed, which means if you were posting in Facebook groups for meetings, webinars, making new contacts, anything along those lines, it's going to show up in the feed of anybody who's in that group. So let me see, it's not going to show me in this one. Here it is. So there are 30,000 people in this real estate group, right? So if I post for these people an event or anything along those lines, odds are it will display in the feed of those 30,000 people. And you've got, I mean, real estate, drunk on social, real estate mastermind, real closers, this is the My Outdesk one. These are just Sean's groups. And again, you can see in all of these, it'll tell you how many people are in each group. You're talking, the larger ones are over 100,000. The smaller ones, you may have a few thousand. They have different levels of activity. I would recommend going into Facebook groups and taking a look. And if you were doing recruiting, find ways to connect with people in Facebook groups. Speaking of which, our Facebook group, and I'm almost done with Facebook here, is the Icon community. If you haven't joined this, I'm going to paste this into chat. There we go. There it is. Please join that Icon community. We have in our own group, we have 1,900 people. Now, what you can do, if you do advertising, you can run ads and advertise for people in these groups, right? You guys may notice, if you're already a member, we are not spamming you guys with ads. We're not running any ads. The goal of this group is, number one, we have a ton of files in here. I mean, Sean has been adding these for years. So in that Icon community, in the files folder, there's a ton. The other part is we are dropping in links to training videos, to guests, like for instance, I'll be putting Jon up today. So we have a ton of stuff in this Icon community. So again, Facebook groups in general is something that you guys should probably try and be more active in. The Icon community specifically, but I would recommend that. What I would say as a caveat, and I'm actually going to put this video up as well so that you guys can refer to this, but Facebook has plateaued. I sound like a bad person saying that, but Facebook is actually slowly on its way out. Lord only knows, maybe they'll change that at some point. But, I'm reading online on a daily basis, Facebook is dying. Their user engagement is down. That's something that I'm seeing as well. And so that's why I am exploring other social channels to build things up. The next one I want to show you is Twitter. So I've been on Twitter since 2008, and I haven't had much response with it. You guys are probably in the same boat. You go on Twitter, you do your post, you have like 10 followers, nobody clicks like, it sucks, right? So when Elon Musk bought it, I started doing some research and I said, what's going on here, right? Why would he spend all of this money for Twitter if it sucks, if it's dying? Well, what happens is, part of it is, on Twitter, you have basically a small group of core users that are active, right? And then the vast majority of people sign up for Twitter, like, because you're supposed to have an account, and then they put something up because you're supposed to post something, but they're not active. So with Sean, and again, I'm going to post this link into chat. Please follow Sean on there we go. Please follow Sean on Twitter. I'm going to put that in there. We are building our community here. One of the things that I like with it, they've made some changes. For instance, with Dan Rocha on here, we've got videos. The videos autoplay. That's very nice. Again, we're putting stuff up on a day-to-day basis. One thing I would recommend is you want to pay attention to hashtags, real estate, realtor, realtor life. Those are hashtags that real estate agents are using. Another tool, this is kind of a secret weapon. This does not violate Twitter policies. This is called Tweepy. Now, this is actually the back end of Twitter. This tool, we're paying $30 a month with it. And what it lets you do is you can do a follow by tweet. And I'm searching for people who are tweeting about realtors today, right? And so if you find active users, it'll tell you this is when they last tweeted. This is how many followers they have. If you follow them, some percentage of them will follow you back. And that lets you grow a base of users on Twitter who are responding to your messages, right? And so again, if you're recruiting, you can put out your events, your call to action, anything that you want. You just basically do a tweet. You put that tweet out there, put your hashtags in it. And as you add followers using a tool like Tweepy, and you don't have to use this, you can do it by hand, but this one is very handy. I'm going to post a link into chat for this. This is tweepy.com. Again, we're paying $30 a month. We're not affiliated with this. This is just a tool I've been using. Basically, this is the back end. It lets you access Twitter in a way that actually lets you use it. So Twitter is not dead. It has definitely been down a little bit, but you know what? I would say on my own personal account, I tested this before I got Sean involved with it. I've been able to quadruple my engagement. I have 4 times as many users and they are 4 times more active. It's insane. So it does take work. I'm investing about an hour to 2 hours a day in this at night, just so you know. You don't have to put that much time in, but it does take a little bit of work. So in the larger scheme of things, I would say I would not write Twitter out of the game, at least not yet. The other one, LinkedIn, I love LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn, and you should too. And the reason is real estate as an industry has a lot of people who are part-time. They're not engaged. They're just not here, right? They take 6 months of the year off, or they're only doing, one deal every year or something like that. What LinkedIn helps you do is make connections with people who are active, who are professionals, who are there every day. And one of the reasons is LinkedIn forces you to use a real name. It forces you to put in your business info. It forces you to display a bunch of professional info about yourself, right? Like your resume and things like that. So with LinkedIn, I connected, this was last month, I connected with a fellow in the semiconductor industry. He had 128,000 followers and connections. And I said to him, I said, how did you get there? Right. And he said in LinkedIn, he said, it's very simple. He said, the first thing is I do a post every day, right? Every single day I do a post. You can do hashtags, again, real estate, realtor, things along those lines. Post about things that matter to your business. You don't just have to post about listings. You can post about industry trends. You can post about your local market. You can post about school closures, weather patterns, all sorts of stuff. Business and professional postings. On LinkedIn, you do not want to do cat videos or anything silly like that. LinkedIn is a professional network. So the way that I look at it is the people on LinkedIn are looking at your resume. Anyone that you feel comfortable, sharing something with who's looking at your resume, then that's probably appropriate, right? So not cat videos, but in terms of building connections on LinkedIn, again, this is something that I'm doing. The semiconductor fellow, what he said was, you go into your connections. You do a search with filters. And again, I'm going to put this up so that you guys can see, you guys can redo it. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a search for realtors, and it's going to show me all of my connections, right? So this is 2,600 real estate agents and brokers that Sean is connected with here. Well, these are first level connections. That's, if we're recruiting, that may not be that helpful to expanding our network. These are people that we're already connected with. These are people who, when Sean posts on LinkedIn, they see what he's posting. And again, we're putting up coaching and training info here. What you can do to expand your network is you have, I believe, 50 to 100 connection requests that you can send out every week. So you go to this drop down from first level to connections to second level connections. These are friends of friends, right? This is the network of your network. Okay, so the next thing you can do is look down here. Now you can just connect, for instance, with this individual here. There are 10 other mutual connections, right?
Hey,
So,
I'm sorry. Hey, Tim.
yeah.
I hate to interrupt you, but I do have another thing coming up in like 20 minutes or so.
Okay, I will be very quick. Let me do LinkedIn.
Yeah, I
and
just
then
want
I'll
to
be
make sure
done.
I get the questions answered, but I also don't want to step on, you know, what you've got going on. I just want to let you know that I do have another meeting coming up here.
No, I will be very quick, sir.
Cool. No worries. No worries.
So with LinkedIn, what I want to show you here is you've got 2 top level connections and 10 mutual connections. Same thing here. You've got 2 mutual connections. What you can do is click connect, create a relationship with this person. You can search by company. You can search by location. You can filter your city, for instance, Austin, Texas, right? And that's going to show you friends of a friend in this, well, you know, if those were available. I'm not searching correctly. If those were available, you can do friend of a friend connections, build up that network. And again, they will see your posts. And this is how you build on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a professional networking tool. One of the reason that LinkedIn is so valuable is one of the biggest issues I have heard is if you're a real estate agent, you're not looking to recruit someone who sells 1 deal a week, right? Or 1 deal a year. You want people who are active. Okay, LinkedIn is going to be the people who are more professional, they're more active. These are the people that you want in your network, and it's going to show you how to focus and invest your time wisely. So I think that's everything that I have today for you guys. Let me stop the share and thank you for your time. And again, I will post this as well. This is just some of the basics of you know, how you can leverage a couple of the social media networks. Facebook is very valuable. Again, Facebook is on its way out slowly. And I don't know the details of that. I just know that the engagement is down, users are down. So John, take it away, sir. Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. Anybody that has any questions, raise up your hand, or if you put something in the chat, I'll try to look over there as well. But like I said, I've got another probably 20 minutes before I've got to jump off for a attraction appointment. So I'm going to go with Zoom user. The person on my far left, it's a gentleman with glasses. It doesn't say your name. Just go ahead and unmute. And
yeah, I'm asking.
Okay.
Unmute.
All right, Herb. Looks like you beat Zoom user to the finish line.
When you before you do your third party call, how soon is that? Is that why you have that person on a Zoom?
I set up every appointment. Goal is to set up every appointment within 24 to 48 hours is ideal from the last appointment. So if I'm having the second call with you right now, I'm going to then shift that into the 3-way call, and I'm going to edify the person on that call and say, I actually have access to his calendar. And depending on who it is, I'm going to say something like, and this guy is a huge player, knows where the really big money is made. And regardless, it's, you know, I would say something like, regardless of the direction that you're thinking or going, it's going to be an awesome use of your time to get this guy on the call. So, and I'm going to say something to that extent. I have a little bit of a script written out. The problem I have right now is I've got a couple of different businesses that I run for agent attraction. So I'm trying to remember the actual script. But yes, it's within 24 to 48 hours, always.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. I don't know, Tim, if you can see anybody's hand. I don't see any hands up.
Yes, Herbert Cunningham.
Oh, that's that. He's the one. who
Oh,
just went.
sorry about that. Sorry, Herbert. I was looking at the thing, not your image. So.
Okay, so I'm just going to go up from the bottom up. If anybody else has any questions, raise your hand or just jump in. But Diana asked, how much time do you block a day or a week? And what time works the best for your experience for calls? I've been asked that question on day and time since I started cold calling like 20 years ago. The answer is whatever day and time that you will actually do the calls. This is business to business calling. And so I try to do it during the day. If you are going to call an agent after hours of, normal business hours, the way to do that is to say, I could be calling John Norris and say, hey, Jon Mendelsohn, blah, 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 go through. Listen, I apologize for calling you a little later in the evening, but I know that super busy and successful real estate agents like you are dealing with buyers and sellers all day, and I didn't want to interrupt that. So that's what I'm going to say if I call in the evenings, but I don't like to work in the evenings because I got a wife and 3 kids and I want to hang out in the evenings. So part of why I do what I do is so I can control when I do it. And so I typically like so February is going to be a huge calling month for me because I'm not doing any coaching. And so I've got, I think 4 hours a day blocked out into 2 different time blocks. And it's from, I think 10 a.m. to noon. And then I like 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. or something like that. I'm going to go back up. What do you say if the prospect says they can't meet with you until next week? Well, if they can't, I'll set it. I just know that it's going to have a higher no-show rate. What does your RevShare organization look like when you're cold calling? Chad, great question. I don't actually recruit for my own RevShare anymore. I have another business where I recruit for some of the top RevShare people who are looking to get from level 5 to level 7. And so that's where 100% of my focus is. I've got 20 some people in my organization because I literally stopped calling when I had to rebuild the system. And then everything just kind of like went explosive with the coaching and whatnot. So my organization is not my focus. Again, I have a different business model because of what I do with cold calling that mimics my FSBOs and expired model that I used to use, where I recruit, again, for other agents who have a large downline who are missing a ton of money from level 7. But to give you an idea, I will bring on somewhere between 8 and 10 agents in the next 28 days. Now, they won't be all onboarded, but that's my goal. Let's see. Thanks for sharing.
I should jump in as well. John, since you're talking about cold prospecting, my email, and I'll put this in chat, is tim@iconcoaching.com. If you guys are looking for lists, I actually talked last week about this. I can share info with you for basically the best list vendor in the United States. And so again, it's tim@iconcoaching.com. You can buy lists and he breaks them down. This is one of the things that we talked about. You can do regional, you can do state, you can do metro area, you can do the entire US. And so I can forward you his info at Icon. Now, the downside is he does not have production values, at least not yet. But if you were looking for a list of, like California, he's got 300,000 agents in that. So
yeah, and what I would suggest is the tool that I use is Market View Broker. You have to get broker approval by your state managing broker. I have heard some people tell me that they've had a difficult time doing that. I'm not sure why. I never have. But Market View Broker will give you, because what I look up when I search agents is I can search by my avatar of 3 to 10 million in production. And I get their production for the last 12 months and the prior 12 months. And then in my coaching program, I show you how to find that data, download that data, convert it to a CSV file, and have it auto uploaded back into your CRM. So when you click on the next call or the next person to call, you've got their last 24 months of production broken up over the last 12 months and the prior 12 months. So I know everything there is to know about them. And then I usually keep LinkedIn open on my on a separate monitor and like a Google tab open. And before I call anybody, I just do a 30-second quick look to see what they're up to. I'm going to keep
Market View. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Market View Broker. There's also, it's something by Showing Time. There's also a company called Broker Metrics. They're much more expensive. I don't know if the data is different, but I will tell you that the data I get from Market View Broker is 100% accurate. You know, unless somebody left the brokerage in the last like 5 days and I downloaded them, 2 weeks ago. Let me buzz back up these questions. Do you recruit commercial agents? Actually, I unintentionally have an appointment with a commercial agent on Monday. And so I'm going to have to jump in and get some info on the commercial side, but the entire appointment process is going to be the exact same, but focusing on commercial. Let's see, what do you use for the text message videos? So I record it in CRM Grow. You can click on the record button in CRM Grow, and then I record it and it's housed there. Terry, you've got your hand up.
Hey, John, are you recruiting internationally?
I don't, I don't have a particular reason why I don't, other than there's, a couple million agents here or 1.5 million agents here that aren't with us yet. And so I try not to recruit in areas where I don't understand the market at all. For instance, New York City is never an area that I did FSBOs or expireds. And it is not because my brother lives there. They have a completely different real estate model than anybody else, from what I can tell. And I only swim in the ponds that I know. And so that's why I don't recruit internationally. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. I'm looking through the questions. If anybody wants to reach out, I put my, scroll back up through the chat. I put my website. Again, the website is going to be changing to a completely different website. Content is still going to be there, but currently you can jump in there and click on the Connect with John, and that will bring up my Calendly and set an appointment. The other way, the better way to really do it is to either email me at john@RevShareBuilder, one word, .com, and it's JON, or look in the link. I put my cell phone number in there too. Let's see. Thank you. This is fabulous. You're very welcome. What's the cost of Market View Broker? It's under $200 a month. And you don't have to have a year contract. I've heard somebody said on a call prior to this that there's a 3-month minimum. I haven't found that to be the case. But yeah, it's Market View Broker. It's by Showing Time. What are there any other questions? I don't want to keep people on if there aren't, but if you have even any kind of question, pop your hand up. Let's chat.
Hey, John, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, as part of your script, you mentioned a team. What about like solo agents?
I would do the same thing. Yeah, I would do the same thing for a solo agent where I would, so I can't use my production because I haven't sold since 2019. And so when I was recruiting for my own downline, it was my sponsor because I've given him some business. So technically we've done business together. So I'm technically part of his team. So he's totally cool with that. So if you don't have something, and again, that part of the script is not super essential. That is just to let them know that you're a producing agent, blah, 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 that type of thing. And also the script has a particular cadence and tonality that follows it through, that eliminates questions as I go. So I don't have to be, overcoming tons of objections. But yeah, I would just use either your production, or if you don't think your production is notable, then I would talk to your sponsor and find out if you can just say you're part of their team. Because at the end of the day, with RevShare, you are part of their team.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. And I've had a couple of people email about lists. I will email you guys back. I have to dig up the info that he gave me the other day. And so I will reach back out to everybody. so I think I'm pretty much all set for today. If John is, yeah, I'll keep sharing tips and tricks with you guys. You know, I mean, Sean is obviously we are recruiting for EXP. We're also growing the coaching business, and so we're using a lot of the same tools and stuff that you guys are. My takeaways for today would be, don't be a secret agent. Right? You probably heard that before. Don't be a secret agent, or as Sean said yesterday, get out there and make some noise, you know. And in terms of the social environment, it's putting your best foot forward. Make sure that everything you have is filled out. Make yourself as real as possible, and just keep in mind that people are seeing you way before they reach out to you, you know. And so just update all of your social stuff. For us right now, we're doing Facebook groups. That's a big one. LinkedIn is incredibly valuable. And then also Twitter.
Hey, one other thing on the lists, you can also reach out to your title company. I've had a couple people told me that they did that, and their title company seems to have a way. I don't know if it's the same tool I use or not. But I've also talked to somebody whose title company got Market View Broker and they used it. I don't know if that falls within Market View Broker's rules and regulations, but I'm just, you know, your title company has the ability to get agent data as well. So are there any other questions that?
I got one
Yes,
real
sir.
quick one.
Yes, sir.
By the way, love the first name, man.
Yes.
It's John, not Jahan.
Yes, right.
When you're doing your cold calling, and I know you're using CRM Grow, do you integrate your CRM Grow at the beginning of the cold calling process as well, or you only use your CRM Grow once you make contact with them and then plug them into that?
So I call from CRM Grow. I pay the whatever $19 a month for the Wave dialer. I don't use the triple line dialer. I only use a click to dial. And the reason is because I want to get a little bit more info between every call. So everything that I do is all through CRM Grow. When I set an appointment, I set it up in CRM Grow. The appointment is linked to my Google Calendar, and it is also linked to my Zoom. And so it's going to automatically send them all that information.
Gotcha. So the automations, because they don't use it, the phrase is automations, not campaigns, right?
Well, it's not automations or campaigns for what I do. I literally have a giant list of people, and I just click next and I click dial.
And do you ever use any of their automations once you make contact, give them some more information, keep touch with them, videos, such and such?
I do have some automations. I am not one who focuses really heavily on the follow-up side of things because I'm a prospector. And so it's probably one of my weaknesses. But my goal is to get through the conversation and get them with my upline on the appointment number 3. And then after that, I do more personal follow-up because I'm not following up with tons and tons of people.
Okay.
I'm following up with the people that I specifically want, because I don't know who came up with the phrase. I am sorting. I am not searching for agents. I am literally sorting through a list of agents to get the ones out of the way that I don't want to be a part of, and they don't want to be a part of my world. And I'm, it's just like, my kids love searching for seashells on the beach. They're not searching. They're literally sorting through and passing the ones they don't want, picking up the ones they do. And that's how I do agent attraction.
Okay. And when you're reaching out to these guys, if there's no answer, do you leave voicemails?
Nope, absolutely not. I will mark it in CRM Grow as I've called them once. The probability of me calling somebody twice is pretty low because I've got 80,000 agents that I can call from. And so eventually, if I'm bored one day and I'm tired of the list I'm calling, I'll jump through and call that. But I focus on brokerage first. So all of my all the agents I have in my CRM Grow and in my spreadsheets that are going to be uploaded to CRM Grow are sorted by brokerage, by production, and sort of the rest of my avatar. So the reason I do that is then I don't have to mess with thinking about what their split structure might be. I don't have to think about the brokerage. Like for the next 2 hours, I'm only calling KW. For the next 2 hours after that, I may be calling Compass or whatever the scenario is. That also gives me a little bit of perceived variety on my end. So it's not really variety. I'm doing the same thing, but it's just like, I got tired of that list. That seems to be going nowhere. I'm going to put a different list on. it's not going to make statistically any difference. It's going to make me feel like I changed something.
Yeah, a fictional change of mindset.
That's exactly right. Hey, the gentleman in the top left hand, it might not be top left on anybody else. It just says Zoom user. You still have your hand up, but I don't think we got to talk yet.
Oh, that might have been my.
Nope, he's there. Can you talk, sir?
Yeah, can you hear
There
me?
you are.
Oh.
What's your name?
My screen would not cooperate. So, so just ground zero with this. Would you suggest that I go through Sean's deal first, or I mean, I'm part-time, and so this is a little overwhelming to me.
Here's my thoughts. I have not ever seen anything that Sean put out that isn't, grade A, amazing quality. Sean's attraction and action program is a great attraction program. Mine is specifically for calling agents, talking to agents, and recruiting agents that you don't know. So you have to make the decision. I would say both, but I also am biased. I love Sean's program and I obviously love mine. So I can't really give advice on that other than to say neither one of them is going to be a cost that you spend that you don't recoup in information, knowledge, and tactical applications 20-fold. So I think either one is fine. It just depends on what you want to do. If you want to focus, like I don't have the ability to call agents I know or make a list of 100. I made a list of 2. One of them
That's kind of, well, and that was the thing I guess I'm a little frustrated with, and I mean that was resolved today, but that's what I was beat over the head with, was this whole organic thing, that you can't cold call agents. And I mean, I am in a downline of which is associated with Libertas. We'll just leave it at that. And when I asked that directly a couple of months, last year, that's why I hadn't done anything, because they were like, well, no, you can't, it's all organic and you can't do that. And then there were these stories, these agents getting kicked out of EXP.
No, absolutely not.
It kind of just ticked me off, really. And I was like, well, screw this. I'm not going to do it, because I don't have, I'm like you. And I just really was frustrated. So this has been helpful today to.
Yeah. And what I would tell you is there are the rules and regulations of agent attraction and the agent attraction pledge. I have read it thoroughly multiple times, and there is nothing that says that you cannot reach out to agents that you don't know. Everybody does it one way, shape, or form or another.
Right.
So I don't know what to say about what you heard, but that's not true.
Okay. I mean, that's good. And then the last thing is the agents that I have talked with and contacted, I'm just Mr. Negative today. I'm sorry. I'm just sharing with you my my experience, but we've got a couple of, I guess you'd say, heavy hitters in my area. And it feel like they've just made such a mess of things to where you even go to have you thought about making a change, or have you thought about this, that, and the other? They've already been contacted by these 2 or 3 other EXP agents that have these teams, and they're like already pissed off,
Yeah, so I wouldn't worry about any of that. And what I tell everybody, this is not meant to sound harsh, but their preconceived notions about EXP is none of my business. I do what I do, and if they're not willing to talk, great, I move on to the next one. And so I wouldn't worry about that at all, one little bit. Some areas may be tougher than other areas, but what I would say is the payout at the end is so worth it that I'm going to make the calls either way.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? Because I know that Tim probably has to get jumping off. Is there anything else I can help anybody else with? If you don't want to ask it on here, again, I'm going to copy and repaste my contact information as soon as I can find it.
Yeah. And you know what, John, I want to mention to everybody, I'm not going to do a screen share here. I'm going to paste our Icon Coaching YouTube channel. And I'm going to put this whole thing up on YouTube. I'm also going to cut out some important, I do video shorts. I'm going to put those up in the Icon Coaching members area, or I'm sorry, in the Icon Coaching community on Facebook.
All right. I'm just trying to look back so I don't have to retype it for where I put my contact information, and just put it at the very bottom so everybody can see it, but I can't seem to find it. Oh, there it is. I'm going to repost this. Again, everybody feel free to reach out to me if you want to talk about coaching, if you want to talk about whatever questions. I'm more than happy to help anybody any way that I can. That is all my contact information. Again, you can go to RevShareBuilder.com and click on Connect with Jon. The schedule for that is limited because I have my dial sessions set up in my calendar. And so if the appointments that are available are too far out or whatnot, just either email me at JON@RevShareBuilder.com or my cell phone, 757-751-1461. More than happy to help anybody. Super appreciative to Icon and Sean and Tim for letting me jump on here and seeing if I can add some value. And if anybody needs anything, that's where to find me.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
I sent him, I don't know what his name was, but the gentleman that says Zoom user that talked with Jon just last.
Yeah.
If he could send me his contact information, I'd like to talk with him afterwards.
Okay. Why don't you paste yours in, and
I sent him a direct message, but I don't know that he saw. Okay, he did.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay.
All
There
right,
we go.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. So guys, thank you to everybody for joining us. Hopefully we're able to provide good value to you guys. The stuff that I shared with you today, I mean, Jon, of course, has an in-depth system. So, he shared a lot of value. Sean Kokoska, of course, shares a lot of value. Everything I shared with you today is what I'm actually doing, right? So I'm not sure if that's helpful, but I know one of the challenges in real estate is always like, we're going to tell you what to do. We're not going to tell you what we do. So today I'm telling you what I'm actively doing. The only other thing that I would recommend is consider coming up with some kind of an email newsletter. That's something that could be valuable. And again, if you're using the recruiting CRM, you've already got an email drip system in place, so you don't even need it.
Hey, Tim, one last thing I'm going to say is in about 2 weeks, when all the ink is dry, I'm going to be announcing a massive, I'm going to be making a massive announcement about the RevShare Builder coaching program. Everybody that's on this call, you'll get a reach out letting you know when and where I'm going to be making that announcement. Don't miss it. It's epic. That's all I can say right now, though.
Please, I'd love to see it.
Okay, well, guys, why don't we wrap things up for today? Thank you, everyone. Again, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, and we are working. Actually, I'm booking guest speakers, so it's not just us giving you advice. We're finding the top of the top inside of EXP on the Wednesday call, and for production related stuff on Tuesdays. So let me wrap things up. Mr. Mendelsohn, thank you so much for being our speaker today. I sincerely
Anytime, all the
appreciate it.
time. It's again, I don't miss this Wednesday call, so anything I can do to add to it, because my relationship with you, Tim, and with Sean has been a game changer for me. And so I just really appreciate it. So yeah, thanks for having me on. It's a super big honor.
Absolutely. And the thing that I would leave everyone with is, in our industry, without naming any names, but there are a lot of people who present themselves differently than they are in real life. I would say, Jon, you were a wonderful person. I was also going to say about Sean Kokoska. I've worked for Sean for about 2 years now. He is exactly as kind, humble, caring, and thoughtful anytime, any day of the week as he is on these calls. So he is not a fake person by any means. He is exactly the person that he presents himself as being. He's probably the most wonderful person I've ever worked for.
For what? Too much?
Thanks so much, Tim. I appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.